Remember, guys, the winner here goes on to play against Lucky to determine who wins this bracket in the challenger stage of the tournament. Down in the bottom right-hand corner of Whirlwind, the Blue Zerg player leading 1-0 from Team Liquid. His name is Snute.
Snute, Snute, Snute.
Snute.
The European Zerg who gave us so many fond memories. Of course, his home Story Cup 6 victory was, still perhaps the biggest achievement in his career. But then what I really loved is when he was practicing a lot of Wings of Liberty for the very first big Heart of the Swarm tournament, which was the Intel Extreme Masters World Championships. And Snute was one of the guys who just didn't touch HOTS because he really wanted to, do well there. And then suddenly it was announced, like, still a little bit of time before the tournament, but not as long as other people were playing HOTS. Hey, we're gonna play HOTS at tournament. Snute wasn't ready, you could just see it. He didn't really perform that well at IEM. A lot of people saying like, oh, Snute, you're a Patchuk after all. You only won Home Story Cup 6 because you're Patchuk. Then within 2-3 weeks he stroked back so hard at that ESAT Masters in the UK, which was a very tough tournament. A lot of Korean players were there, but Snute just came out victorious and he just showed the entire world that he ain't no Patchuk, man.
You know who never called Snute a Patchuk?
Who?
Mr. Bitter.
Did he?
Never. Never called Snute a Patchuk.
What if I can No, at Home Story Cup we always have a lot of fun spotting the Patchuks. We go over Ali Gulag rankings, and then anyone who has like a statistic that dropped, we're like, oh my god, Patchuk. Well, we're doing it like in front of them, not a sneaky thing. It's like making fun of people, man. But no, I've never thought that Snute was Patchuk either, if you're talking serious right now.
He's, I think the thing that we always say is that if you go back and look at Snute in Wings back then and you look at his style, that was not what the Patchzergs were doing, the quote Patchzergs were doing. He played his own unique style, he always has, and that's why people like Snute a lot. It's also why he's recently been called out by Nurchio for not changing that style. When Snute posted that big blog, Nurchio was like, listen man, you've had some great results and some great games, but at the end of the day, you're doing the same thing now that you were doing 6 months ago, and you've got to evolve with the meta.
And I'm pretty sure he has, and I'm very curious to see if Snute wins this series, see how much his ZVZ has changed, because Snute was very sad, and the moment when Nurture called him out was after Snute lost 2 ZVZ series on a row against Soppy, which allowed Soppy to go Premier League and forced Snute to stay in Challenger League. Snute was really sad about that. Nurture felt like he had to be the one call him out on that. Of course Arthur had to be that guy, but I'm very curious to see what changed. I'm also curious to see what changed this game, man, because Snute went hedge first and he saw that Neeb is going command center first.
Very fast Roach
and
Warren.
Last game we said, 5 minutes, 45 seconds, Roach Warren, he's still mining gas. That's a little early. This game is 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, this is going to be like a 7 Roach Rush, I think.
With a follow-up? Is that the build that you used to love from Chef, when Chef did it?
Well, the way that Chef did it, he would do the Roach Rush and he would take his third right behind it.
Yeah, just do a little poke, just do some damage, keep the Terran on the back feet. That was your favorite build before Reaper.
I used to love that build. I still do that build from time to time. But I don't know if that's how Snute's going to play this out. There's 5 Roaches on the production tab, 6, and we should see a 7th here shortly. I guess he's going to have no choice but to take a third base behind this because he doesn't have Zergling speed.
There comes the drone, man.
Yeah, there it is.
This is the build that Mr. Beta loves so much. The reason why I'm teasing him about this is that for like 4 months straight, every single ZVT, even if it wasn't relevant at all, he felt he had to share this build and he had to share this story. And he was just showing some love to Chef because he really, really loves Chef.
Yep, Chef is not somebody we hear a lot from these days, but this is a build that he was doing before anybody else. You make these 7 Roaches, you drone hard behind it, and you punish a Terran player who gets overly greedy in the early game. And the build that we're seeing out of Neeb is very weak against this kind of aggression. Now, if he gets a Marauder out, that changes things, but 2 Hellions are not going to cut it against 7 Roaches.
He doesn't know it yet, Ben. He just knows it right now.
Did he even see it? He's not reacting. Now he's going to turn around, and this is already almost curtains, because by the time these Roaches are cleaned up, the amount of damage dealt is going to be just massive. Snute needs to be looking to kill SCVs. He doesn't want to be running in circles.
He might actually be able to pick up this Spidey and make his way into this main base. If he's able to pick up this reactor, that would be nice. These Hellions getting juicy shots up though.
He needs to switch micro a little bit. Pull back these damaged Roaches. He's being
Neeb is doing this very well.
But Snute is still going to kill some SCVs. He's going to get everything surrounded. I think he could have controlled this a bit better.
I don't think he had to be that afraid of the bunker, because there was only a single Marine in the bunker. Like a bunker is some guaranteed DPS, but how much, it takes half a century for a single Marine to actually kill a roach.
So even in light of that, this is okay for Snute. 47 drones to 31 SCVs. There is a third command center, though.
There is a small but as well. Like, he is on 47 drones, but he's going to be forced to make some units from this point on, because he knows there are Hellions out on the map. He was able to pick up that reactor, so he slows the Hellion production down a little bit. But he still has to worry about these Hellions.
I just don't like the way he chose to prioritize his targeting there. Oh, that's going to be a juicy drone roast. These Hellions are going to pick up a few worker kills of their own. Snute killed 8. Neeb has already killed 7. So pretty even economically, and there's an extra command center for Neeb, so Snute's actually in a little bit of trouble, I think.
Snute immediately morphed 7 additional drones, realizing that after picking up those Hellions and picking up the reactor...
There's still no wall off. Oh, but there's a mine. Snute sees it.
Oh, and Neeb on burrows.
Can't bait it.
So smart. I love it when they do small things like this.
I mean, Snute is trying so hard to take that mine shot, but it's just not happening. Mine's like, nope.
No. I know what you're trying to do, and I know I'm programmed in a certain way, but I still got my own will. He says no.
I will not fall for your antics, says the Widow Mine. Layer on the way now for Snute. I think Snute could have done much more damage than what we saw there. I think
he should have stayed closer to the bunker, as I mentioned before. Like, sure, a bunker is always scary, and you kind of want to avoid it. But if you really look at how much damage actually comes out of that bunker, you are pretty quickly able to realize, okay, that's 2 Marines, that's 3 Marines, that's 4 Marines, or that's a single Marine. And you know, you can dance next to that bunker all day, every day, and he would have been able to pick off those 5, 6, 7 SCVs, because, you know, who really cares about that one bunker with that 1 Marine in it?
Well, at this point, it's...
But it was still okay. Like, Neeb lost a lot of mining time. He lost 8 workers, but you know, like 20 of them were not actually mining. Layers, by the way, halfway done right now for Snute already.
I mean, into the mid game, Snute's in an okay spot. 75 drones to 55. It's going to be 4 bases to 3.
This Marine's gone crazy, man.
This is
this very angry Marine.
He is all hopped up on something.
He's like the guy that you tell to calm down, and he's like, "Oh, what do you mean calm down?
Don't tell me to calm down."
I am calm. A couple of Zerglings will get picked up as well by these few Marines. So Neeb is right now going to try to mine off 3 bases. Snute, of course, wants to do something about that, but also doesn't want to overcommit to it. He's going to send a few links, and then he's going to... No,
that's enough, Snute.
No, I don't think that's enough. He's sending 22 more, or at least there are 22 additional links. That's cute, but no. Neeb says no.
I gotta tell you, one of the most annoying things as a Zerg player is like you run into a fight with a number of units and you're like, okay, I got enough, and then you realize that you don't have enough, and then you just turn around. It's like the whole time you're running forward, you're losing units. The whole time you're running away, you're losing units, and you never actually do any damage. It's never a good feeling, so Snute just experienced that.
This base is going to be pretty much completely saturated already by Neeb. Of course, Mutalisk production is almost starting, and Snute was able to squeeze out 14, 15 additional drones during all this. So right now he's on a very, very healthy economy of 85 drones. But I feel Neeb will be able to put on the pressure, perhaps not even necessarily earlier than in the previous game, but in a more scary manner, because Snute's economy has been nowhere near as good, and we saw how close that hold was last game on Eklund Waste. I think it's going to be very hard for Snute to get through this phase without taking any damage.
I think you're right, Kevin. The muta production has just begun. 7 mutas coming. They're going to give him some tools to defend these drops, but Mutalisks are not the answer to drops. It helps, but it doesn't just turn them off, you know. And in fact, when you see mutas as a Terran player, this is almost when you want to be dropping most, because it forces Zerg to move.
Also worth mentioning, because Snute hasn't been all that rich, there's not a single bit of static defense anywhere. So it's all going to come from the units. A couple of links are in a good position.
So first drop is repelled. Second drop up at the top of the map has a chance to do some damage in that 4th base. I think Snute's aware of it. We see a few units moving in that direction, but like you said, no static D means this is a dead queen and also a dead Zergling.
A couple of additional links as well. Once more the drop's going to unload back in the natural. These mines, or these banelings, will be able to connect with those Marines, but still, you know, Neeb's doing a good job. Snute losing a little bit here and there. Yep, he was at 91 drones, he's at 80 right now.
That's exactly what Neeb wants to do. 14 drones killed in total for Neeb this game. Now back to 91 is Snute, who is beginning to start throwing down static D everywhere. Spine crawlers, spore, hives on the way, more upgrades for his Zerglings and his mutas.
No tanks this game, it's pretty much bio only. A couple of Hellbats are in the mix as well. Interesting. Interesting little switch up.
The Hellbats will help against the Zergling Baneling.
Yeah, they can you don't want to detonate your banelings on Hellbat.
Ghost User likes to point out how the way a Terran micros this, he'll just uncontrol group the non-marines and then just micro back. And the Hellbats serving as a great meat shield to absorb banelings along with those marauders.
Oh, this is going to be such a hard hold for Snute. In my opinion, borderline impossible, but we will see.
He's in the dice right now, Kev.
And I love how aggressive Neeb is immediately. Like, he realizes that Snute is not completely ready for this, and he just pushes on top of it, and he's gonna find all these morphing banelings as well. I really love how Neeb is playing. He's not playing like someone who's afraid, like someone who's very nervous. He's just doing what he thinks is right, and he's just gonna go all out with it.
Snute is in huge trouble, losing his natural. Every drone down here will be roasted. This is just like a barbecue. Smells like drones.
A very good barbecue.
It's what's for dinner. They will all fall, and there's really no chance of Snute cleaning this up. He's got only Zerglings and Banelings. There's no Ultra Tech. Roaches ain't gonna cut it. The mute count doesn't really fly against this kind of upgraded Marines. Mutas
still fly.
Oh, there's some good Baneling connections, and more Banelings will stream down, and surprisingly, Snute might actually be able to live to fight another day, but it's not going to be without heavy losses. He's down to 115 supply against 170.
And he's still losing a lot of drones in his original turret base as well right now. These mutas are going to have to back off. Neeb already starting his 3-3 upgrades and still 60 supply ahead. He's even slightly ahead in workers right now. Neeb is playing a fantastic game ever since that first hold. I kind of thought that his push was going to be a little bit like this, but then I saw he is switching things up. He's going for Hellbats instead of mines and